Welcome to the Horr-Gasm podcast, the show where the serial killer isn't coming for you, you're coming for them. I'm Nick, and this is my co-host, Allie.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining us wherever you are.
Yeah, on this few days from Christmas, I guess. This
Yeah.
will come out on the 19th, so a few days from Christmas. It's basically the 19th now.
Yeah, this is as close as a deadline for us ever.
You betcha. But, it's the time of year.
Yeah.
Time gets away from you, unfortunately, this time of year. When you're busy with school and work and
yeah, I've been
presents
working
and...
stupid hours.
Yeah, it's just, you work as hard as you can to get on top of things, and then something always falls behind, one or two things.
Yeah.
And so here we are on Wednesday night, an upload in 2.5 hours.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a challenge.
We can do it. It's
Always,
doable.
always. So you're hearing our sweet, sweet, fresh voices this close to Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy
Merry
Hanukkah,
Christmas.
Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, Happy Friendsmas, whatever you celebrate.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. It's that time of year. Listen to...
What's that one from Seinfeld? Festivus.
Yes.
Merry Festivus. For the rest of us.
Yes, exactly. Just enjoy celebrating. Have a drink. Have some friends over.
Have a drink. Have a hoot.
Yeah.
It's legal here in Canada, so...
Watch a movie. Watch a scary movie.
Watch a scary movie.
I've kind of been into Hallmark movies lately. You know this. This is my jam now. I got a free Stars subscription with my Amazon Prime subscription. So you get 30 days free.
Ooh.
And there's enough that I can watch one every day. And it's really enjoyable. It's the exact same plot, reused every single movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just kind of what you need sometimes.
I need horror. I need something scary.
Just that predictability is nice for me.
Jeez.
Oh, it's enjoyable.
So should we get into some talking chop?
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I showed you just before we started recording the Red Band trailer for Antlers.
Yes.
Doesn't that look good?
It looks really interesting, really scary.
It's a good take on the
Wendigo.
The Wendigo, yeah, the
Yes.
Wendigo myth.
Yeah.
Of Native Americans, their beliefs and all that with monsters. And one of them is, that's what I think it is anyways. That's they're implying that it's the Wendigo monster.
Right.
Doing all these killings. And it's a good horror, a good scary monster movie that we haven't seen very well.
Right.
For a while. And it looks good. The Red Band trailer kind of shows a bit more of the monster than you'd think they would.
Absolutely.
It looks great. It looks creepy. It looks freaky.
Mm-hmm. There's a kid in it.
There's this creepy kid.
As soon as you throw a creepy kid in, I'm in. I'm in for it.
He looks like gaunt and no sleep.
Yeah.
Carrie Russell's in it.
Yes.
And she's a good actress. She always makes things better.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks creepy. Yeah, I'm all in for, what's it called? Urban legends, right?
Yes.
I'm always in for an urban legend.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching Hoax in a few weeks. And I'm excited for that because I love a good Sasquatch. I love a good urban legend. And actually what turned me on to urban legends is, I've talked about on the podcast before, I listened to another podcast called Myths and Legends. And they explore these sorts of things. Different urban legends, they do some mythology, like Greek and Norse mythology, but they focus mostly on Japanese and North American and African legends. And it's really interesting. And the other way I got into it was I watched Supernatural. The whole first season is just urban legends.
Cool.
And it's the best season.
I got into Supernatural. I watched the first season or so, then I lost interest.
That's all you need. You only need the first part of the second. Yeah. That's about it. I dropped off, I think, after season 3. Whenever they started doing the same sort of storyline, they got into just doing angels and demons, and then I was out. They stopped doing the urban legends thing, which you must eventually run out, right?
You'd have to hit a wall and what's left?
Exactly.
And then you start making some up, and it kind of doesn't work so well.
Yeah, they did the Wendigo. They did a creepy scarecrow thing,
they did vampires. They did all sorts.
Yeah, they did cults, all that kind of stuff. What else did they do? There was another really creepy one. Oh, there's like a girl in a car, like a ghost girl in a car that killed people. She just wanted to go home or something. Yeah, it was really interesting. Like, they kind of touched on everything, and then they were out of ideas. They're like, crap, what do we do? We're renewed for another season. What do we do?
Demons. Yes, demons.
And angels.
What else came out? Ghostbusters 3 teaser was released. Mm-hmm. And this looks a little darker, a little more serious than the other ones.
I agree.
Because I saw that, I had to go and rewatch the first Ghostbusters, which I love.
Of course.
And watching it again, it's a comedy, but it's almost like a horror comedy.
Yes. We talked about it, I think, on our last episode, or the one before. We talked about the Ghostbusters and that creepy library scene.
Yeah. Like, there's a few scenes that is generally scary.
Yeah,
with
there is.
Ghostbusters.
Agreed.
The librarian scene at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Not Slimer.
No,
but
he's the comic relief ghost, though.
Yeah, he was based off of what's his name?
Jim Belushi, wasn't it?
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. And even when Dana Barrett.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like her character.
Yeah.
At the beginning when she opens the fridge door and there's the Hound of Hell says Zool with a light in its mouth. That was creepy.
Yeah.
When she gets possessed, all the hands come out of the chair.
Yes.
Grab her and drag her into the kitchen.
Yes.
That's nightmare fuel. Mm-hmm. Even like the hound chasing Rick Moranis.
Yes.
It was just a very, very well done, scary scene. And take that, throw in all the comedy with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and all the characters.
Yeah.
It's just such a perfect balance.
It is.
Only a few other movies get that balance. Mm-hmm. Ghostbusters, Evil Dead, and
Evil Dead 1.
Evil Dead 2. 2 and 3. 2 and 3. One was still more...
Yeah, you're right.
One tried to be a horror.
Yeah.
And it was horror. There wasn't so much comedy in the first one.
Right.
Whereas the second one, they threw in more of a comedic feel to Ash's character. Yeah. And the third one's like, fuck it, let's just make it a comedy.
We don't take ourselves seriously anymore. Let's just, Bruce Campbell, you just do you.
Yeah. So, I know I've always found Ghostbusters in the comedy section, but there is some good horror elements and scenes in that. I think we get the same thing in number 3. Yeah. It's got some the kid from Stranger Things.
Finn Wolfhard, yeah.
Yeah. It's got some more more younger characters. Yeah. But it just looks more serious. More serious.
But like we've talked about before is that literally what we just talked about is kids can make things creepy. And especially like Finn Wolfhard he plays Mike in Stranger Things. So he's used to playing like in a creepy horror TV show. Yeah. So this is perfect. This is his bread and butter. Yeah. I think that if they do this right, it could be such a good movie. Like, it's going to be a good movie.
Yes. It even got like Paul Rudd in there. And he's good for his comedy. So we got Paul Rudd for the comedy, kids for the drama, and the ghosts. Yes. And there's this one scene with the paw, coming down. So you got to think maybe the Hounds of Hell are coming back.
Did they show any ghosts in the trailer? I don't remember. I don't think so. They kind of showed a green image.
They showed, I think, one ghost being chased. Yeah. The paw, and something kind of popping out. Yes. So it'll be more trailers. Hopefully, they won't spoil too much. Right. Which they've done nowadays. I had to talk with Jody at Amazing Stories, where I asked her, "Did you see the new Ghostbusters trailer?" She's like, "No, I avoid trailers."
Interesting.
With a passion. They spoil too much. I'm like, you're right.
Jessica's like that as well. She refuses to watch trailers before she goes to see the movie.
I can't. I
can't either. I have to watch it. Yeah.
Just because I get the feel. Like back in the day, I use Alien as an example. Sure. The trailer for Alien didn't give away anything except they're in space, something goes wrong, it's a creature. Yes. That was it.
And there's so much more to Alien even. Oh, right? Like we talked about.
I think they may have shown the egg, but that was it.
Sure.
They don't do anything with the alien or the xenomorph. They show no face, or not really much face. They don't show the chest burster.
Right.
They saved it all for the movie.
That's perfect.
And that's how it should be. Nowadays, they're showing trailers, and you watch 2 or 3 trailers, you get half the movie.
Yes.
You figure it out.
And that's one thing I think Disney does really well, because, like, I haven't seen Frozen 2 yet, which I can't believe because I'm a huge Disney buff, but they didn't give anything away in the trailer. Nothing.
No, not really.
And the same thing is that I loved was Brave. Have you seen Brave?
No, but I want
to. Spoiler alerts for anybody listening. The whole trailer is just about her being like, I don't need no man. I don't need to get married. I'm an independent woman. You walk into the movie and you start watching it. The whole movie is about her mom turning into a bear.
Oh.
Right? And I think Disney is really good for doing that. Obviously, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
But Disney is fabulous for, same with Skywalker. Like, even watching, like, they put in red herrings, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, all of the Marvel movies are notorious for throwing something in the trailer and taking it out. Completely. Yeah. Like with
gotcha.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
They had trailers with the Hulk near the end, charging in with the other Avengers.
Yeah.
But the Hulk wasn't in it.
We know that,
He was just Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit.
Right.
And you're like, oh, Marvel, you tricked us again.
Oh, you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do trailers, and I like that. I like when they don't give everything away. So, to relate it back to the movie we watched this week, which is Black Christmas, the new Black Christmas, the trailers, they give tons away. They give some of the best scenes away, some of the best lines away, that kind of stuff. And I'm over that. Yeah. I'm over, like, if you have a really funny line and you're like, oh, this will get audiences in, then when you hear it in the movie, it's kind of like,
See, also, though, nowadays, the trailer is basically to get you just interested enough to come see the rest of the movie.
Right.
Like by overdoing it.
Yes.
By kind of already giving away some of the secrets, some of the jokes. You're kind of spoiling it as is, and it's
absolutely
too much.
Yeah.
And talking about the new Black Christmas, I heard nothing but bad about that.
Probably still going to see it, I'm not going to lie. So I'll report back when it's at Rainbow and I can pay $2 to see it.
Yeah. I'll tag along with you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. Because there's
a brief, talking chop review of the Black Christmas.
We saw Black Christmas. It wasn't good. So next. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that there's a right and a wrong way to do trailers. This trailer, like we were talking about, like Antlers even, and Ghostbusters, I think it was just the perfect amount.
Yeah.
Even in Antlers, we don't see the full creature. We see kind of a couple evolution side shots. Like we see
like a dark,
like a flashlight flash.
Yeah, a dark reveal, which was a bit of a spoiler, but at the same time, I want to see more of this.
That's exactly it.
Near the end, it's in a well-lit room.
Yes.
You see its long, like really thin, like long thin arm. I'm like, ooh.
Like, I think the trailer should be just enough foreplay so that you want more, right? Like, just enough where it's like, ooh, I could definitely have a Horr-Gasm after this.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So the third topic is Christmas horror movies.
And there's a lot. There's more than I thought there'd be.
Yes. Yeah, we did a quick Google search before because it's one of those things where, like, you've watched them, but you don't remember the names. Like, I remembered a couple of them, like Krampus and Silent Night, Deadly Night, and those ones kind of, but I don't know. I haven't watched a lot. Black Christmas I've watched. This will be my third time watching Black Christmas, like this one. But, like, I haven't seen Gremlins, which I think I already told a couple weeks ago.
We're going to watch that next week.
Right, we're going to watch it next week,
But there's a few, not a whole lot.
Right.
Some that really come to my mind are a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Sure.
With about a killer Santa Claus with an axe.
Right.
There's also Krampus.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Right.
I really did like Krampus. A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Oh, that's such a good movie.
Not so much. Well, it has its scary moments.
For sure. It creeped me out when I was a kid. Especially the presents when, like, Jack Skellington throws a presents in the room and there's, like, the creepy, like, things that bite.
Murder duck and
the creepy snake sock thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Another one is, then you get into the more B-movie.
Right.
Which is like Ginger Dead Man. Or
I want to watch that one.
Or Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg, where he's basically Satan, but he's imprisoned for thousands of years to be Santa.
Right.
And be good and give toys to kids.
Right.
But then the years of being good are up.
Right.
And he comes back and he's ready to kill everyone. Mm-hmm. So there's that, but it's B-movie goodness.
It's my favorite thing.
Another one is, actually two I can think of, is Jack Frost.
Yes.
Where the serial killer becomes a killer snowman.
Of course.
One of the more funnier scenes in that is he kills some girl in the shower. And it's such a bad movie.
I love it already.
And another one I was thinking of is Frozen, where those people are stuck on the chairlift.
Oh, yes. You're right, yeah.
And they can't get down. They're stuck. The whole ski lift shuts down. And there's wolves underneath them.
Yes. My brother-in-law's brother that has a podcast, he was talking about that. Him and Kyle have watched it. And Kyle really liked the movie. I did know that one exists. I didn't know it was a Christmas movie. I thought it was just like a snow movie.
Well, you throw in snow, it's kind of Christmas.
Sure-ish.
Anyways. It's a seasonal movie anyways.
That's a better term.
So there's a whole bunch of some good, some not good, all Christmas movies out there, but
absolutely,
yeah.
I don't watch a ton of holiday horror movies other than Halloween, obviously, but that's a giveaway.
Yeah.
But The Nightmare Before Christmas, Krampus, I think I've seen part of it. I'd really like to see Silent Night and Deadly Night, and you said before that there's five of them.
Five of those.
So I'm sure they're all just masterpieces.
Yep.
But I'm more like, we grew up watching Christmas movies, right? Yeah. It's always on, like Home Alone, Santa Claus.
Could Home Alone be seen
absolutely. Absolutely. I was thinking of this as you were describing the plots to the movies you were just talking about. It's like, it could be a Christmas movie, except one thing goes wrong.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, Home Alone could easily be a horror movie. Like two robbers trying to break into a house while there's a child home alone.
And yet, you know what? That one scene in I think it's the first one. Mm-hmm. I think it's the first one. When Marv is going up the stairs with tar on it.
Yep.
And there's a nail sticking up. And he puts his foot halfway into the nail.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else out there movie-wise that makes me cringe every time I see that.
Oh. Because you can feel it.
Yes.
Like, I got stepped on an earring when I was like 8 or 9. And I can still feel it. Like when I think of things that hurt. Oof.
I stepped on a wire that went through my toe. Through my work boots.
Right.
Years ago. Oh.
Right.
It didn't feel good.
Something with feet. I think it's because we use them all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's how we get around.
And also, I also have my scar on my foot from stepping on Uncle Bob's old weight set.
Yep.
Me just, junking around downstairs, just having fun. Wrong step, and chunk. In goes my foot into, like, it wasn't sharp.
Yep.
It was flat. Flat and pointy. And in it goes. So I'm like, well, ouch.
Well, ouch.
Well, ouch. There's going to be some damage after. And now I have it's more numb in the area now.
Right.
Which is great. That's great. So if anyone wants to watch a good Christmas horror, you've got quite a bit to choose from.
Right.
Some good, some bad, but you have options.
Yeah. I always think, like, even the Santa Claus, like with Tim Allen, like, isn't it basically thinner?
It's fatter. It's not thinner, it's fatter.
You know what I mean, though? Like the Stephen King book? Yeah. Like, that's it.
True. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Inexcusably starts gaining weight. And,
right?
Yeah.
But it's Christmas themed, so it's okay. It's not a horror movie then.
No. No.
I disagree. Oh, Nick. Well, should we get into Black Christmas?
I think it's time to get into the original
The original.
Black Christmas.
Whoop whoop. All right, so this week for our holiday special, we watched Black Christmas. Black Christmas is a 1974 movie directed by Bob Clark.
Cool.
Nice double first names.
Yep.
I like those names.
Bob Clark, BC.
Oh, Bob Clark.
Bob Clark.
Living the dream, Bob. Love it. So, Nick, how did you hear about this movie?
I think I heard about it.
I think this is one of the first ones we've watched that you weren't born when it came out.
Yeah, this was 1974.
Yeah.
10 years before me. So,
yeah. Before Nick.
No, I'm sure I've heard of it before. I don't remember when.
Right.
I think it was brought up when I was watching some of my old, Halloween movie reviews,
sure.
And this kind of popped up. I'm like, oh, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Never seen it until now. My first time viewing it was just tonight.
Right.
And I don't think I've really heard about it in depth.
Sure.
Until now.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Because I was exactly the opposite, where I've heard tons about this movie. Right before we started this podcast, when I really, really took a deep dive into horror movies, I got a Shudder subscription. First thing I did was get a Shudder subscription, because I thought, you know what? The first thing I should do is buy the only horror-only subscription service. So on Shudder, there's different subcategories if you don't have it. There's one called Slashtastics, and it's all the gritty 80s, like 70s, 80s horror movies. And Black Christmas was on it. So I just started watching all of them. Like, I can very proudly say I've watched every Slashtastic on Shudder.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a thing I've done.
Nice.
So I started reading IMDb, reading up about the movies I was watching, because I wanted to be more educated about it, because I feel like we couldn't have a podcast if I didn't know what I was talking about. So when I was reading this, it was it's considered, because it's pre-Halloween,
yeah,
it's the first slasher movie that was made. It is what their claim is. Because Halloween tries to take that, but they claim the first slasher movie. It's also a Christmas movie, which I love.
So, I don't know if I'd call Black Christmas a slasher.
Yeah?
I don't think I could.
A serial killer walking around a sorority house killing girls?
But
sounds like a slasher.
He's hardly walking around. He's hiding in the attic most of the time.
Right.
You don't see much of any of the kills.
Right. On purpose.
Well, originally, I read some research.
Yeah.
I did some research too. Originally, it was supposed to be more graphic in the kills.
Right.
But the director and the writers kind of thought, hey, let's tone it down. It'll be better.
Right.
Good idea. Maybe
right.
not. We only see 2 of the kills.
Right.
3. I take it back. 3. Mm-hmm. 3 of the kills. And there's a few kills in this movie.
Yes.
And, yeah, I would have to say, though, Halloween would get the nod as the first really scary slasher.
Okay.
Because you see the guy doing it.
Yeah, it is more seeing it. But I think that's part of the appeal of Black Christmas, is the same thing that we had with Blair Witch. That's why I really liked Black Christmas. Is the second one that they did was kind of because I go into the serial killer more. But I think what I really liked about Black Christmas is this is just a rando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with other slashers, let's go back to Halloween. You're not sure where he is all the time. There's
right.
always the fear of being chased.
Right.
Whereas with Black Christmas, there is none of that.
Right.
You see his POV, you know where he is the whole time.
Right. Right.
That ruins some of the fear factor to me. That
interesting.
Kind of doesn't. That takes away the, oh no, what's going to happen?
Right.
Where is he going to come from?
Right.
By his POV, you're like, well, you see where he's going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going to happen. If something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of like it, like, in the scene with Barb. We're just kind of going through it a bit, you guys. I'm sorry we're going out a little bit out of order here. But with Barb, where he's watching her, he sees the figurines in her room, he's watching her sleep, and then we cut to Jess, who runs into her room while she's having her asthma attack. And then we cut back to him, and he's in the room again. See, like, it's just kind of creepy, because he's literally there.
And I took it that he was strangling her. That's like kind of...
Well, she just said she was having a nightmare.
Yeah, but also, she was just coughing away, like...
Yeah, but she does have asthma.
That was a weird asthma attack.
Right.
That was... I almost felt like he was just strangling her just a little bit, nothing too much. And when she started coughing, he, like, you know, he backed away because she made sound. She,
right.
You know, the girl heard her. And that was one of the more graphic kills.
Right.
But you knew he was there. Like, you saw him.
Yeah. This is also the first movie where it's the killers inside the house or whatever, in quotations.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's that as well. Like, I just think this movie, especially in its time, was a lot of firsts.
In the time, yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll admit to that. For sure. Yes.
And probably the peels come off a bit now because it's like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Like it's a much older movie than we watched.
But it also has the killer POV.
Yes.
Which is I'm sure new to that era.
Right.
But you saw where he goes. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, he's up in the attic.
Right.
And all the girls are mumbling about. And there's the rules of horror kind of get, it kind of like it overpowers the movie itself.
Okay.
Most of the girls are in groups. Yeah. So it kills like going to make a kill that. He waits till they're alone.
Right.
Which is basically when they all go to bed.
Right.
So it's a lot of in between the kills. Mm-hmm. I find that it just kind of lags. They throw in a little missing girl, you know.
Right. And I find that the opposite.
This movie's all over the place.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. I'm going to the review after. I don't care.
Yeah. But I like how they were setting up Peter, like Jess's boyfriend, as the killer. I like that. Yeah. And they did until the very end. Is like, oh, that Peter, and she must have killed him to, you know, save herself or whatever after he'd killed all these people. And so they're playing it up like Peter is the serial killer. And I don't know, I kind of, it works for me. Because what I always think is it's kind of like a Psycho almost, where like, is Peter Billy in quotations, or is it like that kind of a thing? Like it could be a schizo thing or
he does lose it when he kind of fucks up his piano recital.
That was so good. Yeah, this, I feel like in this time that maybe would have been really serious and like intense, but we found it just really funny.
Yeah. Just so mad. I was going to punch this piano, rip off the top. Yeah. Take the mic stand, just bash it in there. Like, I think I'm done now. I'm going to take up the flute.
It's like Office Space when they like beat up the printer.
I love that movie. It's a great scene.
Right? Oh.
Well, I think we've spoiled enough of the movie already.
Oh, yes, of course.
Let's get into it. Let's get into a review.
Perfect. So we have a few main-ish characters. I only took the ones that were really core. So we have 4 sorority sisters that we kind of focus on. The final girl's Jess. And then we have Barb, who is a drunk. Oh, Jess is played by Olivia Hussey. Barb is played by Margot Kidder. Phil, who is just one of their friends, the responsible friend, I think is what she's supposed to be, is played by Andrea Martin. Claire, who is the iconic one in this movie, who everybody's searching for, is played by Lynn, I can't even read my own writing, Lynn Griffin. And then Peter, who we were just talking about, who is Jess's boyfriend, is played by, I'm going to butcher this, Keir Dullea? Sure. And then we have Lieutenant Fuller, who is the police officer who believes that everybody's missing. And he's played by John Saxon. And then Mrs. Mack, who is like the, like, I don't know if you've ever seen The House Bunny. Like Anna Faris's part.
Yes, I know.
Is like she's like the house mother, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that she's played by Marion Waldman. Okay. Maybe I could have written a little bit clearer. My printer ran out of ink, so I had to write everything, and I write like a doctor, so I apologize, listeners. But
and don't forget Sergeant Nash.
Yes. Oh, like fucking Sergeant Nash. Stupid garbage.
Sergeant guy. It's
Sergeant Fellatio Nash. Poor guy.
After the one girl goes missing, they interview the girls, and Barb gives Nash the phone number.
Yeah.
And I guess back in the 70s, they would go by letters instead of numbers for their phone numbers. And she said it was Fellatio 9403. And the guy's like, how do you spell that? And she spells it out. And I was like, that must be new.
F-E-L.
And she's like, well, it's a new F-E.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Hilarious.
Oh boy.
This movie, I don't know, it just does something. It does something for me. It's like so, like, I love slashers, and I find it kind of like a B movie, and I think that's what gets it. Like, Peter and his, like, artist personality, and fucking Lieutenant Nash. And just, it's great. It's like, you kind of forget you're watching a horror movie sometimes.
This one you do.
I love it. Okay, so we start, we open with just the sorority house. Yep. We're showing the front of the sorority house. There's a nice big tree, there's decorations, there's a little party going on. And this is, the very first scene is we see the killer walking up to the front door.
Yeah, we get the point of view.
Yes, the POV.
See what he's seeing.
Yes.
And he's kind of creeping around, snooping, and he decides, I'm going to go climb up this. It's
like a lattice.
Lattice, thank you. Into the house.
Yes. And this is when he does the first phone call. So this is the first phone call, and Jess, our final girl, our main girl, she answers. And he's saying all these horrible, crude things, like
quite explicit.
Very explicit. I'm not going to repeat them all because, we tag our episodes as explicit, but it was like very explicit.
A lot of female genitalia being mentioned.
Yes, and male genitalia. Yep. Can't leave anybody out.
And what to do, he's going to want something to do with them, and...
Yep.
Yes, quite graphic.
I
was a little taken aback, like, wow.
Yeah.
This is...
Whoa. And especially for 1974, right?
I know.
And, there's no nudity in this film.
No.
Which... How dare they? How are we supposed to yell boobs halfway through if there's no boobs? There's a Playboy picture.
Oh, yeah.
Barb has,
I think they'll account. We'll count as some boobs.
Kind of boobs. Secondary boobs.
Second-hand boobs.
Yeah. Just walk into Value Village. I'll take one boobs, please.
What? They're used? No problem for me.
Secondary is the finest.
25% off? Yes, please.
Oh my god. So he, some of the things that I wrote down is he starts sort of G with lick it, yeah. Lick me. And he's like, let me lick your face.
It's just weird.
Throw it on your Tinder profile. Let me lick your face. Hey, my name's the Moaner. You want to find out why?
Apparently, this guy has been doing it for a while because Barb answers like, "Oh, is it the Moaner?"
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh yeah." So
yes, and when Jess first answers, or Barb, yeah, you're right. She's like, "Oh, guys, it's the Moaner," and they all run over and gather around.
No, Claire. Claire's the first one who answers.
Claire?
Claire answers, and then Barb takes her from her. And
and then Barb screams back at him.
Yes, she gives
Go
some powers.
Stick your tongue in a light socket. That'll give you a shock.
That'll give you a charge.
Yeah.
And the girls are laughing at her.
Yeah.
And after that, that's the guy hangs up, and the girl's like, oh, whatever, he's annoying.
Yeah.
And the room mother, no.
Like Mrs. Mack?
Yes.
Yeah, she comes
shows
home.
up, and they give her a Christmas present, which is kind of this ugly, gaudy looking,
like a nightgown,
nighty thing.
Yeah.
And so she tries it on, and the one girl, Claire, I guess she kind of got like, this scares me. I don't like when he does that, and Barb kind of snaps at her, and she runs up to her room to pack and
pout,
and yeah.
Yeah, and this is when we find out that Mrs. Mack, the house mother, she has a bit of a drinking problem.
She has booze hidden all over the house.
And straight sherry.
Yeah, that's what it says in there. Straight sherry. Yes. She has one in a book. She has some in the toilet.
Oh, yes. The toilet liquor, I called it. Yeah, the toilet liquor, the book liquor. I have the suitcase liquor later on.
Yeah.
She hides it everywhere. But I guess it's a sorority house, so what do you expect, right?
That's true.
Oh, and then Jess gets a call from Peter, and they're fighting. We don't know what about at this point.
Yeah.
But she Han Solos him, where he says, I love you, and she goes, I know. And then they hang up. She does.
Totally does.
And then we talk about, where are we here? Yeah, Claire's dad. Oh, this whole thing. Claire goes upstairs. When she goes upstairs, we cut to the killer watching her in her room.
Yep.
And as she's packing. And so we're watching Claire packing and and he's watching her through, like, you know those, I'm trying to describe for the viewers here, those, like, plastic things you keep, like, a tux in or a dress in. It's see-through plastic. He's kind of, like, watching her through there, creepily.
Yeah, she goes into her closet, grabs, like, a handful of hangers and clothes, throws it on her bed.
Yes.
And she kind of looks back, she's like, who's there? And she thinks it's
Chris.
Her boyfriend who was there and just left. And she gets closer, and the killer kind of wraps her head in the plastic bag.
Yes.
And chokes her that way.
Yes, and drags her up to the attic.
And she does.
Yes, so now she's missing. So her dad is supposed to meet her the next day to pick her up with whatever we're assuming they're going on for Christmas break or something, and doesn't show up. So he talks to somebody. It was like a bus driver. Was it Peter? It looked like Peter.
No, he was some other guy.
They all have long hair, turtlenecks, and bell bottoms.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to differentiate.
Very 70s. Very Brady
Very
Bunch.
70s. Yes, very Brady Bunch. And so he gets pointed in the direction of the sorority house. And then him and Mrs. Mack she's like, oh, well, drive me into town. And, you know, I know where Chris, like her boyfriend lives or whatever. And you can drop me off on the way. I've got some shopping to do. And as they're talking, she's like trying to cover up Claire's, like, naked pictures on her wall and stuff.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. It was like a couple just laying down there on each other, like sharing bum.
Yeah.
And in
a peace sign.
In a peace sign, yeah. It was 70s.
Yeah, and she's, like, trying to cover it up with her hands as they're talking and, like, closing doors. And he's like, oh, this is, you know, I didn't pay for my daughter to come here to drink and get a boyfriend.
Like, it's college. What do you expect?
Exactly.
So Claire's now missing.
Yeah, Claire's missing.
And they go and they make a police report about it. And the police kind of, laugh it off. Like, oh, it's nothing, whatever.
Yeah, she's off with her boyfriend in a cabin somewhere.
Yeah.
Girls don't disappear. They're just with a boyfriend. Yeah. Come on.
And I think we then cut to Peter and
Jess.
Yeah. And we find out that Jess is pregnant.
Yes.
And she's having an abortion.
Yeah. She's got big plans for herself, and it does not involve baby at this point.
No. And Peter's all, but what about me? Well, my opinion, I want the baby. And she's like, well, tough.
Yes.
You know what? I don't want it. And Peter's very strong for, no, this is, I need some input on this.
Yeah. And I don't know. No, this isn't the part where he starts freaking out about her, but he's like, in another scene, he's like, I want to get married and I want a baby. And
it's very...
it's very 70s.
It sets the age quite well.
Yes.
And so she kind of walks out on him, so, whatever. And he... not Claire. Jess is so dumb this way where she lets him get the final word.
Yeah,
and
always.
He's so convinced, I'll talk to you later. And she's like, fine. Whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk to you. And he's like, well, will you be home at 9? Yeah, I will.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Jess, stop.
And I'm still, they're still trying to find out where Claire went. And
yes.
I think is it Phil?
Mm-hmm.
Phil goes to Claire's boyfriend playing hockey.
No, Jess does.
Oh, it's Jess.
Yes,
sorry,
it's Jess. Yeah, she goes to see Chris. Yeah.
And she's like, we tried to make a report and they laughed us off, and he freaks out.
Yes.
He stormed right there to the police station, And that goes right to Nash, like, what the hell are you doing? You want some fucking answers here.
Yes.
And the lieutenant, he's all, come with me, whatever. Let's get this started.
And don't talk to Nash, he sucks.
Yeah. Nash gets a report. Nash is like, report?
Yeah.
I made her, report.
Buries his head in his hands, like, not the
He
report.
throws his pencil down. He's like, fuck, I gotta report now. Gotta do my goddamn job.
Oh, exactly.
Nash is just a dummy.
Yeah, and while they're in the police station too, there's a mother in there reporting her missing child.
Yes, that's right. We also have the missing teenage girl.
Yes,
she's like 13, I think.
Yeah, she's her name's Janice.
Yes.
Yeah, she's Janice. She's 13 and she's missing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shucks.
Yeah. So.
But they take that seriously.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Right.
Weird.
Maybe 13's too young to have a boyfriend and run off to a cabin. I guess. I don't know. Random. So then we cut to one of our favorite scenes, which is Peter aggressively playing the piano in front of the board members. I'm assuming he calls it the conservatory is where he lives. And it's like he's a pianist, but like an artist. He always says, oh, I'm an artist.
I think he was like playing in front of like, I'm guessing the critics.
Sure.
And they're the ones who kind of choose if he's part of like the big, like Grand Ole Opry and all that, like so he can join a big group.
Exactly.
He butchers whatever he was playing.
It was horrible. I don't know if it was meant to be on purpose, but he's like pretty garbage.
I think the way he looked with his, he was all sweaty, he was nervous.
So sweaty.
And like he was just so distracted by everything with, of course he blamed Jess.
Yes.
With that. I think he was so distracted and worried and concerned that it's kind of just
not going well.
He couldn't focus. He couldn't focus on his job.
And so, of course, this is such a strange scene that Nick and I decide we have to make it like American Idol.
Yes, we had to.
Because why don't you?
Like, he was so bad. Like, I could see Simon, you know what? I'm going to have to stop you there.
Yeah.
That's enough.
And I'm just like, it's no for me, dog. Oh, but Simon, it's fine. Like, no, Paula, yeah.
You have no talent. Give up.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's just so weird. Yeah. It's such a weird scene.
He's so bad.
He's a weird character. And I think that's why they peg him as, like, all of this is, he's spiraling, right? They try to set him up as the killer. Easily. Yeah. So they're like, oh, look at how crazy he is. And, oh, Peter.
He takes it pretty badly.
He for sure does.
Smashes his piano. I'm done. You know what? If that's like, it's like almost the first rager or rage quit.
Yes.
Ever.
Right?
That's so bad. He freaks out so bad.
Yeah, loses it on that piano. Mm-hmm. And that's like a little bit later scene, but he just flips the lid off of the piano and just starts smashing the inside with like a mic stand.
I think so, yeah.
Or like the where you hold your music.
Something with a heavy bass.
Strange.
Just smashes the fuck out of that piano.
And it was hilarious when we were watching. Nick's like, oh, and that sounds better than anything he played.
It was. It was.
And then I get the giggles. So much for a horror movie. It's a comedy now. Oh my gosh. So we are at dinner next. This is where Barb has a bit of a meltdown.
Yes.
They're just, Claire's dad is still there. We're talking about Claire's still missing. Nobody's taking it seriously. Jess and Phil and Chris are at the police station trying to sort it out. They're trying to sedate Claire's dad and be like, everything's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
However,
Barb who's sitting there reading a Playboy.
Yeah, it's like stabbing it with a pencil.
I still think she was trying to, like, just poke around it and, I don't know.
Draw a mustache? Like, I don't...
Barb is like the sorority drunk.
She's the drunk, yeah.
She's, like, just always tanked.
Always.
And
the scene before this, she's feeding champagne to children. Like, she's a mess.
That's right. She's feeding some kid booze. And the dad's there just watching. She's just looking at him like, yep.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Stop me?
Yeah. This is 74. Try it.
And she kind of snaps. Because I think she feels a bit, I don't think it's guilty, but she feels pressured that it's her fault.
Yes.
She doesn't want to she doesn't want anyone to blame her for Claire disappearing because she snapped on Claire and called her like the the token virgin.
Yes.
Like, I could see her a mile away. That's a virgin.
Yep.
And
yep.
And I think that kind of hurt her feelings, whatever.
Yeah. But, and they're thinking maybe she did run away.
Yeah.
Because she was so upset. Maybe she ran away or, you know, did something stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
And Barb is like, you know, whatever, it's my fault, whatever.
Yes.
I know you all think of it, you're thinking it.
Right.
You all want to blame me. Mm-hmm. And Phil is the one who kind of says, you know what? Shut up, Barb. Go to bed.
Yeah.
You're drunk. Go to bed.
Yes.
And Barb's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. Okay. And off she goes to bed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We all need a Phil in our life.
Yeah. And a Barb.
And a Barb, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I want to be like, not the Jess, because I don't want to be pregnant, but I want to be like the awkward in between that like, oh, everything around me is weird. I don't want a Peter either. Ugh. Yeah, right? Those artistic types. There's something.
There's something, right?
Yeah. Especially the quiet ones.
Yeah.
I don't trust quiet people.
Yeah.
Not Ichabod.
No.
I was like, she's snoring right now. She is not quiet.
She is out.
So search party time.
Oh, yes.
Now we're searching.
And this kind of threw me off because they made this report about Claire missing.
Yes.
What do? We go look for Janice.
We're gonna go look for Janice, a 13-year-old
girl.
Right.
Who was missing after.
Right. And so I don't know if they think they're gonna be together or why they ended up there. Oh, I didn't make any notes why. I just said search party time.
It's like a kid. I think she's a kid.
Sure.
She takes priority.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Or maybe there might be a clue. Maybe they're connected. Like, that's what I was trying to piece together. Yeah.
But that, again, this is such a random plot point, which is not needed.
Right.
It has no reference to the main story.
Right.
At all. Like, it's just, oh, we have another missing kid. Let's go search. What do? They search and they find the girl.
Right.
That's it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, it's such a weird mixing here.
It is.
You know, we missed what's her name's the house lady's death.
That's next.
Oh, it's next. Okay.
You bet. Oh, we didn't miss it. We're right in order. We are right in order.
Right.
This is just the beginning search party. They're just showing the dogs and everything. They're just like, okay, we're gonna go do this, and that's why nobody's at the house except Mrs. May.
That's right, because she's packed. She's planning to go for her Christmas thing too.
Yep.
And she
hears Cloud.
She hears Cloud. Her kitty, who we saw earlier, was kind of jumping on the dead Claire's face.
Yeah, Cloud likes to lick her face. Yeah. With the plastic on it.
Well, I guess they had some catnip on there to make Cloud hop up and be cat.
Because the killer has now put Claire with the bag still over her face in a rocking chair in front of the window, holding a doll.
And one of the POVs is just rocking it, just kind of mumbling to himself.
It's very Psycho style, I find.
This guy's
right.
Gone. Like, he's so crazy here. It's funny.
Yes. Yeah, he's something. I'd like to explore more. I know they go more into the 2006 one, which I heard was also terrible. But I'm interested in Billy. I want to know more about Billy.
Yeah, you keep saying Billy. You know, this is Billy.
Yeah.
And
we're like, Billy. We don't know a character named Billy. Who's Billy?
Yeah. And I keep forgetting her name. What's the lady's name?
Mrs. Mack?
Yeah, Mrs. Mack. She's packing. She hears some thumping upstairs. Mm-hmm. In the attic, she goes looking for Cloud.
Yeah.
And she goes to the attic and just basically a ladder going straight up to the attic. She's like, Cloud, how'd you get up there? Oh, you silly cat. And up she goes, and she's looking around, and she sees Claire.
Yes.
And she's like, oh. And like, this again, this just takes me out of this movie. You see the killer holding this hook on like a pulley.
Yeah.
And it's like he's struggling to hold on to it. Like
his arms are just shaking.
Yes. And she's looking one way, she looks back, and she sees him, she goes, oh, and he's, let's go.
Yes.
And you see smack, and you see her legs from the attic shake, and they get dragged up.
Pulled up,
and she kind of screams a bit, and that's it.
Yep.
But just the fact that he was struggling to hold that.
Tiny little hook.
Yes. Like, I couldn't get over, like, really.
Oh. I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
So she's dead now. Mrs. Mack is now dead.
She's joined Claire in the attic.
Yes. And Phil didn't hear it because... where was Phil? Oh, sorry, she was out looking.
Yes.
All that left in the house was the Mrs. Mack and Barb. Barb's in her bed sleeping, and now Mrs. Mack's dead.
Right.
And so we find out, so they go and they go back to the search.
Yes.
And, they find out that
Janice has been found.
Yeah. They found her.
The dogs found the body of this 13-year-old.
And
Which, do we ever find out if it's connected?
No, but I think the reason they threw it in there is so the police can make a connection.
Sure. And the police are busy then.
Yes, they find the girl, like, okay, well, there might be a connection here. Let's wiretap the girl's phone because they tell the police there have been those weird phone calls.
The moaner keeps calling. Exactly. Calling.
So they go and they set up the wiretap so that when the phone rings at their house, it rings at the police station.
Right.
And the phone company.
That's exactly it.
So one guy at the phone company can trace the call somehow where it's coming from.
Right. And right as they're kind of doing this, before the police show up, Peter barges in on Jess, who's now come back. Now the body's been found.
They have their
little spat about, he's like, you know what, I hate being in school. I'm going to drop out. We're going to get married. We're going to have this kid. We're going to be a family. And Jess is like, no, I have a life I want to live.
It's funny, like, I have these plans. You said you had these plans. I went along with them. And now I have my plan. He's like, yes, you can have your plans. While married to me with our kid. And she's like, no.
Right.
And breaks his heart. He storms out just as the police and everyone else comes in.
Yeah. So he's all rammy and leaves, and they're like, oh, is everything okay? Like, like, what was that about? And the police officer's like, Jess, is there something you're not telling me, young lady?
Yeah, he gets super suspicious.
Yeah, like, it's weird. It's to the point of being weird, kind of. It's almost like, oh, so you single now? ASL. Like...
oh, that's very 90s.
Very 90s. Very, like, internet 90s.
Yeah. ASL, age, sex, location.
Yeah.
But,
so they wiretap the phone.
Yeah, wiretap
and
phone.
While they're doing that, the phone company actually comes in to do it. The police officer goes up to Claire's room with Phil and Jess and starts asking her about, like, well, did she only dating Chris? Was she dating other people? Did she drink?
Yeah, again, this is 70s where
yes,
you could date different people unless you're going steady.
Right. Meaning, it's free love.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a big deal. Which I mean, kind of a thing now. Just hooking up, or are you together?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think there's just different names on it. Same thing. It's just different labels. So, we are tapping the phone. We're checking her room. Going to bed. Phil goes to bed. She's done.
She's so out of it, but just due to all this, too much excitement.
Right.
All the stress has got to her. She's emotionally exhausted.
Yes, exactly.
And so bedtime for her.
Yes. So, which is fine.
Yeah. And Jess stays up.
Yes. And this is when Jess is going to... She's thinking, oh, I'm going to go check on Barb before bed. But she's just kind of... she's still getting phone calls this whole time from the moaner. And he's just being weird at this point. He's not even saying anything, really.
He tells a story.
Yeah, he's, like, talking to himself and talking about Billy and, like, Agnes is the other name he brings up.
The first time he talks, he repeats the talk that Peter had with her.
Right.
And then she's like, because he calls and they didn't have him on the line long enough to trace the call.
Yeah.
And after the policeman calls her back, and how come you said "oh God" when he said that line?
Mm-hmm.
Did you recognize it? She's like, well, no. She lied to police.
Yes.
And then after she told, I think, Phil that he repeated what Peter said to me.
Right.
And that's weird.
Yes.
That kind of pushes like Peter's the killer.
Right.
So.
Because they don't know that he's, like, in the house at this point. So they're thinking that he knows because he's the killer.
And then Peter calls after these two calls, and he's crying on the phone.
Like, he's hysterical.
Big baby about this, just a big old bitch.
Big old baby.
Oh, he's just, you should take me back.
Yeah.
Baby,
like.
So pretty. Peter, shut the fuck up, man up.
Like, not that men are not allowed to have emotions, but, like, you were shitty. And you deserved everything you got from Jess.
He's a shitty guy.
Yeah, like you're shitty.
And that's just a really, like... he pulls the, I'm sorry, I'm crying card. Take me back.
Yeah, exactly. We've all been there. We've all had this happen or know somebody who this has happened to. We all know Peter.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we all know Peter.
Peters suck.
Yeah. Sorry, anybody who listens named Peter.
I'm sorry for Peters. If you're listening, your name's Peter. You do not suck. You rule.
Yeah, and stay away from pianos. They're not your friend.
Yes. And yeah.
And so this is when, we talked about this scene already, when Barb is she's just sleeping at this point. She's drunk as a skunk. She's sleeping it off. And the killer comes in, watches her, a la Paranormal Activity, for a few minutes. And then she starts freaking out and starts screaming, kind of. And so Jess comes in to check on her, and she's like having an asthma attack.
She's gasping.
So she gets her inhaler, which you pointed out she doesn't even use it.
She just puts her in her mouth and kind of...
Yeah.
And she's just... See, I still think that it wasn't an asthma attack. I think it was him choking her a little bit.
Sure.
And so she uses an inhaler poorly, and she's like, I must have had a bad dream. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, but I also want to mention, this whole movie, the entire movie, Jess goes through 17 different accents.
Oh my gosh, where is she from?
I don't know.
She's from Boston in the beginning.
Boston, then she gets a British accent, then turns to Irish, back to British, back to Boston, and then she goes I'm going to add them all together, and that's your accent.
Yeah.
It is crap.
It's like Lindsay Lohan. Or like Madonna. Like, it's so silly. Yeah, it's weird.
It's bad.
It's weird. It's like I was watching a Hallmark movie the other day. I even forget which one it was. And it was supposed to be a French accent, but it was very like, ooh, we love the holidays. And I was like, oof, that's Swedish. Rough. Yeah, it was like, I actually took a video of it and sent it to Jessica, who was like on last week. But I think it'll be last week when we record this episode, right? It's on Thursday? Yes. Yes. And I was like, huh. And she was like, oof, that's iconic. I was like, yeah, it was. It's hard sometimes with bad accents. Right? It kind of pulls, I agree. It pulls you out a little bit. But it kind of, I don't know, it kind of adds to the, like, not greatness of the movie that I'm, like, here for. I'm totally here for bad movie.
I am too, but just some of these, like, her accent just didn't ruin it.
It was weird.
It kept asking you, what's this accent now? Now where's she from? It had me wondering, what the fuck is wrong with this girl?
Everything.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she makes sure, you're okay, yeah. So she kind of tucks Barb back into bed, and outside there's some carolers.
Yes.
So she goes to listen to the caroling
you're
kids.
Right. Oh yeah, because we forgot this was a Christmas movie.
Yes.
By the way.
So we got the kids caroling, and Jess is all, this is adorable. Meanwhile, Mr. Killer, Billy, I guess his name is.
Sure.
Fucking know yet.
I just called him the Moaner the whole time.
Moaner, he calls himself Billy. It's weird.
Yeah.
He's back in the room with Barb, and he grabs her, like, she has some
figurines. Yeah, like glass.
Yeah, and she grabs a unicorn.
Yeah.
And of course he's mumbling away, and Barb wakes up, and he starts stabbing her with the unicorn. Yeah. And a little bit of blood on the unicorn, and dead.
Yes.
Barb is dead.
Yes, exactly. And so Jess has no idea what's going on.
No.
So she gets another phone call, and this is when they start trying to trace the phone calls. And the phone keeps ringing incessantly. And so Phil actually wakes up. And her and Jess do some sleuthing, I wrote down. I was like, what is that word? They do some sleuthing. They start looking around the house.
Right.
And this is when Peter calls, and he's a big baby bitch.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And so he hangs up before his call can be traced, because they thought the phone operator's like, should I trace this call? And the police officer's like, yeah, you should trace this call too.
And then also, Jess has kind of a little bit of a revelation that...
Yes.
But Peter was with me when the first phone call happened, so it couldn't be Peter. Peter's innocent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it kind of takes him out of the running.
Yes, exactly.
For now.
Exactly. And so as they're having this kind of talk, they walk into the kitchen, and these two randos appear in their window.
Oh, yes.
And they're like, people.
These guys who forgot they were part of the
the search party. Yeah.
And they must have missed that they found the girl.
Yes.
And it was weird. Like, the one guy's got a gun. They kind of... One guy was like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
Yes.
And they're kind of like, oh, we didn't mean to scare you, miss. Just looking for the child. Oh, they found her. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll get going home. And
don't forget to lock your doors and windows. Yes. So they're like, oh, yeah. And then so Jess turns to her, and they're like, those guys were weird. And then she's like, well, Phil, we should, this is the only door that's locked in the house. We should probably lock everything. And they're like, okay. Yeah. Let's go lock.
Jess takes the main floor.
Yeah.
Phil goes upstairs. The top floor. So she goes, she locks the one window upstairs, and she hears a sound from Barb's room. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to go check on Barb, because I'm a good friend that way. And she goes, knocks on the door, opens the door, peeks in, and she looked behind the door, eyes open wide, door closes.
Oh, that's creepy. It's like, boom.
Dead.
Yeah.
Phil is dead.
Yes.
Didn't see a thing.
Sorry, Phil.
Door closed, she's dead.
Yes. And so then the moaner calls again. Yep. And the police, this is when they check out Peter's piano, and they're like, oh.
Right. They go and they find...
He's so angry.
Yeah. They find smashed piano, and we gotta find this guy.
Yes. And as they're searching this place, the phone company is tracing the call that Jess is on with the moaner at this point, and he traces it to a location. And so he radios the sergeant, I forget his name.
He would have ran a lot faster.
Right.
In real life. Like, he kind of slowly moves, kind of...
Shuffles along.
And he kind of goes a little faster, and... And he has no urgency.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's like, oh no, it's come from the house.
Yeah.
And the lieutenant's like, no, you got it backwards.
Yeah. You've got
It's going to the house. Like, no, it's going to the house and from the house.
And it's like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. See, I know, I remember that. That's one more iconic scene that's coming from the house. That's been done in other movies countless times.
Right, exactly. And so Lieutenant Fuller now is like, he radios Nash at the police station, and he's like, you call Jess, and you cannot tell her what's happening, but tell her she needs to get out the front door. Do not tell her anything. And Nash is like, yeah, man, I got it. So Nash calls her, and he's like, Jess, you need to leave. Yep. Well, I'm going to go get the other girls. Nope. Jess, there's a killer in the house. It's like...
so stupid now. Like, he's like, okay, now... listen to her say and don't ask any questions. She starts saying, no questions. Go outside. Put the phone down and walk outside. Oh, I'm going to get Barb and Phil. No. Put down the phone and go outside. But my friends, there's a killer inside.
I know.
No, Nash, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, Lieutenant Nash or whatever.
Sergeant Nash.
Sergeant Nash just screwing up again.
A sergeant?
Like, he's
Who did
useless.
He blow to get that position?
Well, Fellatio 2108.
That's so funny because they're laughing about that earlier.
Yes.
And he's like, and he doesn't get it. And
no.
Like, I bet it means something dirty, doesn't it? And they just laugh harder.
Dirty. Yeah. So, it's hilarious.
Anyways, so she's like, well, I need to get a weapon. She grabs a poker. Smart girl.
Right.
She grabs a poker.
Like a fireplace.
A fire poker, thank you. And where does she go? Upstairs.
Absolutely.
She's going upstairs. She goes into Barb's room. Mm-hmm. And there she sees Barb and Phil on the bed, quite dead, a little bloody.
Yeah, it looks like they're almost, what's it called? Like, together, like pinned together. Hey?
I don't know if they're pinned. They look like they're just kind of laid.
Right. Yeah, like together, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but it's just weird. Like, they're, like, propped up together.
Yes, that's right. They're just kind of propped up together for some weird reason.
Probably for movie magic, so that we see both of them. Yeah. Right?
And she hears this kind of mumbling, kind of snickering, and she looks, and you can see the eye. Yeah. In the crease of the door.
Right.
That was good. I'll give
Absolutely.
That was one good scene. I'm like, that's a good spot. That's pretty good. She freaks out. She runs down.
Yeah, smashes the door.
She smashed the door into him. Smart girl.
Yeah.
Runs down the stairs. He chases. He kind of trips her up, knocks her down.
Yep.
And she hits him with something. Hits him with the poker.
No, I think she... Does she hit him? Oh, they just kind of have a struggle on the staircase. Yeah, and I think she bats him with it, and he kind of falls.
She knocks him down, and she runs to the basement.
To the basement, of course.
And locks the door. And he's banging, and he's kind of doing his little mumbles things.
Yeah.
And then you hear him stop. Door open and close, so he leaves the house.
Right.
And she's downstairs, and she's moderately safe. And you see the
like somebody walking past the windows.
Kind of walking around.
Yeah. And looking in.
And she kind of hides in the shadows, and we find out, it's Peter. Peter,
right.
Jess, it's Peter. Let me in. Are you okay? And he breaks the fucking window and gets in that way. And he kind of finds her in this corner.
Yes. Cowering
with the poker.
Yeah.
And
he's like, "Oh, Jess, what are you doing?"
And he gets closer, and we see the police show up.
Yes.
And they left a officer in the car there to kind of just
out front,
supervise. And we see his throat's been slit.
Yes.
And so they rush in and they bust down the door, and they find Jess in the corner with a dead Peter.
Yes.
With the worst coloring blood I've ever seen in her lap. And she's looks like she's kind of dead. She's kind of passed out, and they kind of wake her up.
Yeah, and she's just unconscious.
Yeah, they throw her into her bed upstairs.
Right.
And
so they're just kind of talking over the scene where like, I can't believe he killed all these people. Poor, Peter, he must have snapped when everything happened between them, and she's still passed out. And it's, Claire's dad is passed out too for some reason.
I guess it's a shock.
Okay, shock.
Because I don't know, they didn't find
Claire, yeah.
So they drag the dad out, they leave Jess in there by herself, sleeping in the bed. And
because they think the killer's dead. Peter was a killer, and he's gone, so she's not in danger anymore.
And so the camera goes up into the attic, and there you see Claire still got the bag over her face, and Mrs. Mack. Mack.
She's just hanging out on the hook.
Yeah, and as the camera pulls back away from the window outside, we hear the phone ring. Mm-hmm. And end.
Yeah, and Claire's got her face and very psycho-ish of her face, like in the rocking chair in the window. Yeah, like it's weird.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, so that was Black Christmas.
Yeah,
that was it. It was a thing. One of those slashers.
I didn't care for it.
Well, Nick, what would you rate it out of 5?
1.5.
Yeah.
1.5 to 2. I thought it'd be better. Mm-hmm. Like I explained before, the killer POV kind of took away some of the tension.
Sure.
The kills were pretty bland. Mm-hmm. The little bit of blood, nothing too graphic. Again, it's 70s, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't have any feelings of fear or or tension.
Right.
I don't know, there's so many different inconsistencies. The young girl Janice being missing.
Right.
That was kind of unnecessary.
Sure.
Chris was even Phil's boyfriend was in for just a bit. He dressed with Santa. You don't see him at all for the rest of the movie. Right. He basically disappears.
They mention him in the very final scene when Jess is passed out, and they're like, yeah, we should tell. I don't even remember his name.
Neither do I.
Yeah, we should tell Phil's boyfriend.
And same with the other boyfriend.
Chris?
Who was his... He was
Claire's
boyfriend. Yeah. After looking for Janice, he disappeared.
He's gone.
He's out of the picture.
But he's got a really killer fur coat.
Oh, that's a nice fur coat.
Imagine a trench coat with fur. That's what he was wearing.
Yeah.
Very very Freddie Mercury kind of, right? Yes. Or like Steven Tyler. Yeah. Loved it. Okay, interesting.
I did like how you don't really get to look at who the killer was. You never got that solution.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. At the same time, it leaves you wondering. It leaves you wanting to know who was the killer. He's still alive, apparently. Yeah. What's his story? Besides being a complete fucking Fruit Loop.
I think they almost did that on purpose, probably for a sequel. Right?
Yes. I read the trivia. I guess we had a more of a less ambiguous ending where Chris was kind of part of it. And
see, and that's what I was thinking. Like, with the Peter thing, it almost felt kind of... Isn't it Scream, the one that's kind of like that?
Yes.
Yes. It felt like the first time I watched it, I kind of read a bit about it, so I knew that we never find out who the killer is. But I thought, after I watched it, I was like, man, this would have been good as like a Scream-ish kind of ending, where it was like Peter and Chris and working together almost. Right? Wouldn't that have been interesting?
That would have been a better ending.
Yeah.
Because you would have one in the attic at all times.
Yes.
Because Chris disappeared. It's like after...
And that's exactly... It's like, well, Peter was with me, so he can't be the killer.
And Chris can be the killer at the beginning because he's the one who's with him. So exactly. It's a very... it's...
Right.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not a fan of this movie.
Sure.
I'm not. It's as much of a historical horror movie that it is. I think it underperforms terribly.
Sure.
It just got too much inconsistencies. It jumps around a bit. From the first death to Mrs. Mack, it's just a lot of needless filler. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's... I can name off tons of better horror movies than this. Scream.
Sure.
But they took this idea and made it work.
Right.
So much better.
Right. Because that's another one where the killer's in the house, right? Or like when a stranger calls, it's the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also with Scream, one of the bonuses with Scream is that they keep you guessing.
Yeah, right.
Whereas you know the guy's in there. His name's Billy. You kind of almost spoil who the killer is. You know who he is, but you don't know if he's one of the other main characters.
Right.
And obviously he's not because Peter dies. Chris is missing.
Yeah.
And same with other guy.
Right.
So it's...
And this movie, like, I love this movie because you know I love slashers. And I would probably give it a 3. Like, it's right along the same vein of all the other movies I love. I love that it, like, I didn't take it too seriously. Like, I love the campiness of it. It's so easy to make fun of. But I like the kind of, and obviously, like, I've seen lots of other movies that have been kind of the same, but after this. Yeah. And I think I just appreciate it for what it is. And I totally agree with what you're saying with, like, the weird plot points and stuff like that could have been left out and something else could have been added. But I don't know. It just does something for me. It does, and I can't even explain what it is.
I know why it does that. It's a Canadian film.
That too. That totally, yeah, for sure. Maybe that's her confused accent because it's supposed to be in Montreal. Maybe she's a little French.
She's a little something.
Yeah, Jess is a little bit of something.
Yeah, not French.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's fun. I love the POV thing. I love the super creepiness. It kind of combines like Psycho and Scream and a slasher, like a Jason sort of all mushed together in this this ugly Frankenstein sort of movie. And I don't know. It just does something for me. With
Psycho, with all the ones, you get a payoff.
Right,
with
for
this,
sure.
You don't get the payoff.
Yeah, and that's why I think I would only give it 3 because I've seen it 3 times, so it must do something for me.
Yes.
But I agree that like it really could have done something good, but it's just missing that one extra step. Like a Scream ending would have been perfect for me.
Even more of a final battle between Final Girl and the killer.
Yeah. Or like we see Jess kill Peter while he's coming at her, and then Chris like attack Jess or something and be like, oh, how could you? We were in on it, or he was, like do some exposition or something like that.
Or even, have the killer kill Peter.
Right.
Have her
there you go.
Try to attack Peter, have the killer defend Jess.
Yeah.
And then drag her up into the attic.
Right.
And then end.
Yeah.
That would have been I think that would have been a better
for sure.
Because you have a conclusion, you know that he's still around, he killed Jess.
Right.
And you would basically end with the police coming in and finding the bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, because they never found Claire or Mrs. Mack, yeah.
Yeah, they're upstairs in the attic.
Right.
Like, that's some shitty police work. Never checking the attic? Come on.
Don't sweep the house, come on.
Sweep it.
God.
Sweep it.
Sweep it.
Alright, so then what about Ichabod's Kill the Flick?
Oh, well, we talked about it, and even though she is snoring right now, we thought that it should be Claire's death with the bag thing.
That was the most iconic
laundry bag.
death.
Absolutely.
It's on the front of the poster. it's a very creepy look.
Very creepy.
The actress who did that, like it was no dummy. It was her.
Really?
With the bag, they had the bag going into her mouth with a hole. She had a hole for her nose.
Okay.
And I guess she's a trained swimmer, so she can hold her breath really well.
Awesome. So. That's cool. Yeah, it's very creepy, and they make sure that they show it quite a few times, probably 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, they keep coming back
from the killer, from the window, from that stairway. We see her quite a few times in different positions. It's so creepy. Yeah, but definitely the killer flick. Yeah. So next week we figured we'd do another Christmas movie because it'll come out on the 26th. We're still in the Christmas spirit.
Yep.
So let's do Gremlins.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
We put out a Twitter poll and an Instagram poll, and it was pretty close between Black Christmas and Gremlins. So we thought, why not give you both?
That's right.
Give the people what they want.
Yes.
Yay. I'm excited because I've never seen it. So
such
I know all about it. So, but
you've never seen Gremlins.
Right.
This is a good trade-off.
This is good. This. Yeah.
This is good. And it's a fun. I love this movie.
Right.
I love Gremlins.
Perfect. And it is a scary movie. Hey, like it's supposed to be.
It has its moments.
Okay.
It's the Gremlins themselves are creepy. There's it's like the sequel's more comedy.
Sure.
The Gremlins themselves are kind of goofy.
Sure.
But in the kitchen with the main character's mom, I forget her name. You'll see it.
Sure.
It gets a little graphic.
Oh.
So you'll have to check that out.
I'm ready for it.
And there's death. There is death in the movie. So.
Yes. So I feel like I missed some death this week because there were creepy kills, but I just missed that. Like,
it's pretty tame. This is a pretty.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie, right?
The unicorn death was probably the most.
For sure. Yeah.
But.
And even that, we just kind of see the motion, like the up in the air and then the
Yeah.
But, oh well. Oh boy, thank you for joining us, everybody. This episode was brought to you, as always, by our snoring executive producer, Ichabod. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, and Twitter at GasmHorror. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is always the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week, because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!